Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss The Strangers, Chapter 1, starring Madeline Pitch. I don't know if I'm saying that right, please forgive me. And Troy Gutierrez, directed by Rennie Harlan. Welcome back, Rennie Harlan. And welcome back to The Strangers. It's been a while since I've done the two movies, The Strangers and The Strangers Pray at Night. Maybe since that movie was in theaters. Yeah, that sounds familiar. And how do I feel going into this one? Well, I didn't like the previous two, but is this going to be any better? Let's get into it and we'll find out. We open with someone who remains nameless running for his life until he gets killed by the strangers, and then we move on to couple Maya, played by Madeline Pitch. I don't know if I'm saying that right, please forgive me. And Ryan, played by Troy Gutierrez, driving in a town called Venus, Oregon, as they're going to Portland until Maya reminds Ryan the day they drove there is their 5-year anniversary, and they kiss until Ryan almost causes an accident with the truck driver, who ends up flipping them off and acting like an asshole about it, rightfully so, because Ryan wasn't paying attention to the fucking road. That hell, I would flip the motherfuckers off for that too, as they tried to kill me, but thankfully I don't drive because it makes me chicken. Enough about that. And that's how much I don't like these two characters, as they come off very unlikable from the get-go. They eat at a diner because Ryan needs to eat something where everybody's just staring at them. And because they can't eat meat, well, she can't eat meat, he can, because Maya is a vegetarian, and I don't eat red meat like hamburgers, steak, thanks to Richard Linklater's recent review I did of Fast Food Nation, which was also a bad movie, but not as worse as this, in my opinion, as they order a salad, and one is a turkey melt, to put bacon on the side, and they chat with the townspeople, and this scene is so goddamn awkward. While their car won't start, why? Because somebody doesn't want them to get out of town, as a man named Rudy helps them and says they don't have a choice but to stay there for the night, because they have to get to a part of they gotta get a part for a car in order to fix it, along with Dougie, while the waitress named Shelley from the diner takes them to a cabin in the woods where an old man is never there. Or one man. I think it's an old man, but I'm not sure. And there's no electricity in the refrigerator, but there is all over the fucking cabin, which bothered me. Because how the fuck is it that the refrigerator isn't working, but the whole cabin is? Which makes no sense whatsoever. They have a nice time at the cabin until a stranger comes at the house asking if Tamara is here, and while there is no Tamara in the cabin. How many more times do these motherfuckers use that name? Like, come up with a different fucking name, for fuck's sakes. They cuddle up until Maya realizes Ryan left his inhaler for asthma in their car, and Maya says she's hungry, while Ryan grabs a motor and rides a motorcycle to town, as Maya is on the phone with her friend Gabby, and she gets another couple of knocks on the door, and it's the same person that asks if Tamara was there. Tamara, I'm sorry, is here, while she never answered the door and locks the door, and they knock once again, asking for a third time, and I thought, how many times do you need to ask that fucking question? As this movie was getting on my nerves. And the suspense wasn't intense, but more hilarious, as I can't help but laugh at a lot of times throughout the movie. Like, at one point, Maya accidentally turning on the garbage disposal, which was absolutely hilarious. Maya calls Ryan and asks him to get back to the cabin soon, as she goes outside, and I realize they have a barn full of chickens there as she goes outside, and I thought there was a way they can get inside that cabin, as that was bugging me, while Maya smokes a cigarette and hears a song I remember from the first film, and that felt like a nice callback, I guess, while Ryan gets his inhaler from the car and bumps into Rudy, and Rudy almost kills his ass and stops by another burger joint where they meet the same couple as well as some others, and they talk about their almost 3-year anniversary. And he gets something meaty like a cheeseburger for him, and while he gets Maya the same thing but without meat, because she's vegetarian. Remember that, folks. And Maya plays the piano, and what killed me was there was a stranger watching her, and she never looked back. As she also showers, she sees a stranger like Scarecrow called Scarecrow watching her in the shower, which was making me laugh my ass off. Because how the fuck can she not see him in the first place? Oh, this movie has so many problems. The lights go out, and Maya pulls out her phone light and hears things, and sees masks, and she also sees another stranger, Dollface, and hides in the closet until Ryan gets back in the middle of it being pitch black, and she explains what happened to the lights and how did Ryan see nobody in the cabin, as Maya tells him she saw and heard, and he's led to believe she's delusional, which makes me call bullshit at this point, and they knock again, and they see the girl standing there, and Ryan goes after her, and she runs off, which was a stupid idea to begin with. They eat their dinner until they see some blood at the top of the kitchen light, as it's a creature bleeding, and that's more of a what the fuck moment, more than a scary moment. And they lock the doors, and the strangers break into the cabin, and they hide in a bedroom, and Scarecrow breaks the door, and doesn't come in after them, as he just leaves them alone, which makes no goddamn sense whatsoever. And it bothered me from the get-go. The strangers break Ryan's phone as they try to escape, but they blow up the motorcycle, and they play the record of old music, and they hide underneath the house and gets rats crawling on them, and suddenly get attacked by the strangers, and Maya's hand is stabbed by a nail, and oh, this killed me. I was getting a call back to A Quiet Place, where Emily Blunt steps on a nail with her foot, and and please, whatever the fuck you do not reference a better movie than this pile of garbage, than what you're pulling off, as there were times I couldn't see half of what the fuck was on the screen. And director Rennie Harlan, despite I haven't reviewed Die Hard 2 yet, I'll get there at some point, but he as a director is a hack, as he's made one very bad movie after another, not including Die Hard 2, but I haven't reviewed it, we'll get there. They get outside, and Ryan leaves his inhaler once again. They hide in a room as Dollface is right behind them, and I know Ryan is going to die, because remember, there's a chapter 2 and 3 coming sooner than what the audience thinks. And Maya's the only one alive, as she is going to stay alive, as this movie is predictable that way. And there's no suspense. And after seeing the trailer, anybody would know the suspense was coming from the get-go, as that was bothering me. Dollface walks up behind Maya as the Scarecrow grabs her, and until Ryan shoots him with a shotgun. But he's not dead, as that was annoying the shit out of me. While Ryan and Maya get out of the hide and accidentally kill Rudy, and I'm hoping he will die at the end of this movie, while even the strangers come off pretentious, and as there's no characters to root for, as I'm almost an hour into the movie at this point, and I just don't care, as this is one hell of a careless motherfucking movie. Maya and Ryan get in their car and almost drive away until Scarecrow runs their car over, and Maya gets out of there while Ryan stays behind and tries to shoot Scarecrow dead, but he once again gets away like a motherfucking coward, and Ryan gets out of the car and to find Maya as she hides and keeps quiet while they can't spot her, and after they can't find her, at one point she calls the police to get them to their location with the flip phone. And do those exist anymore? I mean, come on. While the connection breaks up and the strangers looks for both Maya and Ryan, looking for the strangers, and Maya runs and hides one of the strangers named Pinup, knocking Maya out and drag her back to the cabin. And we get back to Ryan, and he catches Dollface and points a gun at her head, and she slowly and reluctantly drops the knife and turns around and screams for her life, and he goes on about how she's the second kill, like, which is just so fucking irritating. And Scarecrow comes in and knocks Ryan's ass out and brings him back to the cabin, and they wake up together, and they ask the strangers why are they doing this to them. Oh, and this killed me, and one of them said something similar to what was said in the first movie, but which was, and here's the minor difference. because you were home was in the first one, whereas because they were here instead of home in this movie, it's here, and I would prefer home out of here because it fits that movie more than this bullshit. As this is so horribly dumb. As Ryan proposes to Maya, the strangers stab Ryan and kick his chair down, and he dies. And they stab Maya and kick her chair down, but she doesn't die. But because there's more than one chapter of this, now to become a stupid trilogy. But the strangers run out as soon as they hear the sirens, and Maya ends up in the hospital. And the movie ends like that, while it says to be continued, and credits roll to a mid-credits scene where Maya is sleeping next to one of the strangers, which happens to be Scarecrow, and the movie ends there. And this climax, well, I'm gonna say what climax because they're doing what The Hobbit did, which was ending in an absolutely unsatisfying note to say, come on, come pay us another $20, as this is reminding me of Fantastic Beasts. And I said it on that show where you're getting $20 out of my wallet and they're going to flip me upside down for another $20. And this is not only a cash grab, but a complete fucking robbery. I can't believe I have to give them another couple of $20 out of my wallet, and this is the definition of a complete robbery. Now it's time for my rating. I'll give this movie a 2.3 out of 10. Better than the second film, but not as high as the first film. But this movie was horrible, as I don't like the two main characters, as I couldn't care less whether they lived or died, as that was predictable since there's going to be a chapter 2 and 3 coming up. And I don't like these strangers either, as they come up pretentious. The movie is not scary, and I still laugh at it, and I'm still wanting a good horror movie, as this series isn't one of them. There were times I knew Maya was, as well as the strangers, were coming back to chapters 2 and 3, because they might come out sooner than later. And that's how predictable the movie is. And the dialogue wasn't very good, nor was the directing. And remember, Rennie Harlin is one of those directors, and I reviewed him in Exorcist the beginning, but not yet with Die Hard 2. We'll get there. But who are hacks. While there were times I couldn't see the fucking thing, as it felt like Rennie Harlin couldn't afford lighting, as this filmography more than proves my point on how much he can't direct a movie worth of shit. I can't believe there are 2 more chapters of this piece of shit movie, as I wouldn't advise seeing this, nor what's coming up, nor Pray at Night, because maybe give the first film a try, as that came from a story from Brian Bertino went through once in his life, and he should be ashamed of this. And what's coming, as well as Pray at Night, as this is a solid non-recommendation, and this is another movie wasted by a director who can't make a good movie worth of shit. And I haven't reviewed Die Hard 2 yet, but I'll get there when I get there. But in the meantime, this felt like a 90-minute wasted time, and this felt like a complete robbery, as there goes $20 out of my wallet, and here they go again grabbing another couple of $20 out of my wallet. That's $60 in comparison, folks. Don't spend your money on this thing or the next 2 movies. Wait for it to go on streaming. I don't care. Do not go to theaters for this. So I'll be back when the chapter 2 comes out. And until then, because I was home, I wish. No, I am home. What am I talking about? Because I was here.